Okay, at 6:02 on May 26th, I'd like to call to order fiscal year 2020-2021 budget hearing to start the meeting. Our first item on there is public comment. And last I checked, we did not have any public comments. Is that still the case? Okay, page 17.
There's nobody in the waiting room.
Okay, so do I have any discussion items from the other commissioners? Do I have a motion to pass the resolution? Anyone?
Yes, did we have draft language on that, or just passing the budget for the fiscal year?
My understanding is we're passing the budget from the conclusion of our first budget committee meeting and our second budget committee meeting, and passing it for this coming year.
You could phrase the motion based on the agenda item to adopt resolution 2020-07, etc.
Okay. I'd like to propose that we pass the resolution for 2020-07, adopting the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget, making appropriations and levying and categorizing the tax.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Do we have any seconds? Anyone that can second that?
I'll second that.
Oh, thank you, Walter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. At this point, I'd like to adjourn this meeting at 6:05 p.m., May 26, 2020. And now I'd like to call to order our regular monthly commission meeting at 6:05 p.m. on May 26, 2020. And are there any changes to the agenda? Okay. Public comment. Is there any public comment that we know of? Okay, we'll go right into the consent calendar. Does anyone have any comments on the consent calendar or changes to the consent calendar? Okay, does anyone want to make a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I move that we approve the consent calendar as given.
Second.
And I'll second that. No.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, thank you. Quickly moving on to old business. Any comments on old business? Okay, new business. Approve. Go ahead.
I move that we approve accounts paid.
Thank you. Anyone second that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, new business. Approve Carrie Brandberg as position 4 on the commercial fisher users group. Limit entry seller replacing Ernie Phillips.
So moved.
Do we need a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, resolution 2020-08, setting rates, fees, charges. That has Mark Brown's name attached to it. If we want to add anything to that, or if we just want to move forward and.
Yeah, I would say unless you guys have any comments, I think.
Okay, I don't at this point. We've been through those. So would anyone like to make a motion?
Yeah, were we going to approve those at the June meeting, Jim?
You know, we thought about originally doing that to give a chance for the commercial users group to have, or commercial fishing users group to have a chance to comment on this. But I did check with Heather, passed that on. She didn't have any comments. She passed that on. We didn't hear anything. So I think we're pretty much ready. Now, if you'd rather wait until then, it's okay as well. But at this point, you know, we just want to make sure. I wasn't sure at one point if we would have enough time to
Right.
get folks to look at that.
I am okay either way. Walter, if you have reservations and would like people to have a chance to look at that and gain further public comment, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I had told people if they had any comments that we were going to be doing it in June, so I think we should just leave it till then.
Okay, let's do
That's
that.
fine.
Any further conversation on that? Okay, we're going to leave that one till June. Thank you. Commission vacancy, we had one applicant, and I'll turn it over to Paula.
Yeah, so as you know, during the last commission, former Commissioner Sarah Scanza hasn't yet provided a letter, even though she has spoken to Jim Burke and myself on the phone that she wanted to resign of the commission. We decided to wait until make sure we had her formal resignation before we announced that there was a vacancy. A couple days later, we did receive a letter, so I notified Jim that, you know, we should go ahead and post it. We did post the position. And actually, we didn't get anyone for the time frame that we had established, so we extended by basically another week. And we got Kelly Redford interested, and so she sent in her application, and she filled out the questionnaire, and I'm not sure if anyone has any questions for Kelly. First of all, maybe we should introduce Kelly and give her a chance to talk about herself and her interest on the commission, and then maybe followed by any questions you may have.
That'd be
So-
great.
Kelly. You on mute.
Welcome, Kelly.
Unmute.
There you are.
I just want to say hi, good evening. My name is Kelly Rutherford, and some of you I know and recognize, and some others I don't. I have the privilege of meeting Karen through email this week, and that was a privilege. So anyway, I'm Kelly Rutherford. I'm a longtime resident of Lincoln County, and we just moved back into Newport about 3 years ago, built a house here, and we actually overlook the port of Newport, the bridge and the bay, and anyway, so we have a beautiful view up here. But I just wanted to, well, actually Jeff approached me and asked me if I would be interested, and so I gave some time to that and thought about it and realized that actually my heart was a little bit attached to it, and that Newport is my home and our community. And so me and my husband talked. We're a big family. We have a fishing boats, and so we have lots of business going on, and I've been in business for many years, and big family. So there's nothing slow here. I mean, there's a lot happening. And anyway, but Jeff mentioned this, and I thought it would be a great time to kind of be a part of something more than what we are doing now. And I'm a part of the Fishermen's Wives, have been for years. I'm active in our church, in our family. We have 3 corporations, so we're a big entity. Sport is where my heart is, and I think it would be awesome to bring my business skills, my knowledge of teamwork, leadership, and who I am to. So I was humbled when I looked through what the port really was. I had no idea. And after Jeff mentioned that, I went ahead and went online and I've done some research. And I've looked at the strategic planning. I've looked at, well, I've kind of looked at each one of you guys of who you were and a little bit of your backgrounds. And so I've spent some time even listening to some of the port meetings to kind of hear your voice and see what it's all about. And anyway, so that's been married for 37 years. There's 19 of us in the family between our son-in-law and three daughter-in-laws, grandbabies, and so we're a big family. And anyway, so.
Great. Thank you, Kelly. Nice to see you. Do the commissioners have any questions that they would like to ask Kelly at this time?
Well, I suppose, oh, there you go.
Okay. I don't hear any questions. I greatly appreciate your interest. And
I see Jeff waving his hand.
okay,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm on my iPhone. It's not working that well. But Jeff, you have to make a noise and then your face shows up on my phone. Okay, Jeff.
Ask you a question that's on the form. What would you believe your role as a port commissioner would be?
Well, I think as a long community member and as a businesswoman, I have a heart for working together with with great leaders and being strategic, planning, with doing the management side of all of the corporations. We plan for the now, but we also work towards the future. So there's a lot of goals in store. There's management, there's finances, there's the foundation of any good business is behind the scenes. And like I said, I was so humbled to see what work really goes on behind the scenes, even with the port, as I was digging into it. And even the projects, I mean, there's 25 projects going on. So we have fishing boats, we have big projects, we have little projects, we have many crew members, we have just that whole business aspect. And anyway, I think that I can bring leadership skills from leading and being an owner and operator, from operating from the inside, working with employees and managing employees, and business skills. It's kind of funny because I've never been, in all these years we've ran my own business, I've never had to put myself out to other people and sell myself. So this is all new for me, but I just feel that there's a lot of history behind me and what I've worked through between being in Fishermen's Wives and on the boards and working within our church with people and with the community and pouring out. So I'm a hard worker. I don't mind to get out there and get the work done, and I don't mind to get my hands dirty, and I don't mind to use my mind. So I think a lot of it is just the willingness and the heart to pour myself into whatever is placed in my hands. So I can just bring what I have, and that's me and the history that goes with that. So anyway, we've been successful at business and feel like we've been successful in our family with all of the kids in life. And so I hope that has, some play in it too. So anyway.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners have something they'd like to say?
So I have a question. So Kelly, hi, Gil Sylvia. So I read your responses. I thought they were very much on target and very thoughtful. Since you have been working here since 1983, I just thought, like you to reflect on your sense of the port back in 1983 versus what has happened today. And just your sense of how it's changed or the progress it's made or lack of progress in comparing, over 38 years.
It's been a lot, long years. Anyway, well, actually, to be honest, I grew up in Wellport and we crossed the bridge all the time. And I didn't even really realize there was a port down there. So I didn't recognize, I mean, I was a kid and all I seen was some fishing boats, didn't mean a whole heck of a lot to me. And so it wasn't until I got married in 83 and me and Mike began our life in fishing. And since then, it's been, actually, it's a beautiful process and to watch things grow and change. And the port has, and like I said, I really didn't understand how big and how grand the port was in all the aspects when I looked deep into it. But just from the overall view, it's grown, the terminals have grown. We used to have a gear shed at the terminals for years. And the beauty of the port has improved tremendously. And so when you're looking from the outside, you don't see the cracks on the inside. And so my view has always been the beauty of watching the boats come and go and the activity along the bay and the community. And so I never really looked at it as on a business side. And I just seen what it did for us as a fishing family and how it brought my kids in and out because all my family fishes and grandkids. And so to me, it was always just a safe place. But each year there's been such improvement. And it seems like since about 2016, for the last probably 4 years, things have begun. So I've seen a lot through the last 4 years and from walking the docks and when the cement docks came in, it was so just over the years there's been much improvement and like I said, I've really never seen it except for NOAA side. Bringing NOAA in was huge. We've done scientific surveys and work for the government on the science side since 1996. We've been involved with NOAA. And we did, every year we have surveys. In fact, we'll have another one this year if the COVID-19 virus don't stop it. So, but every year we've worked with science and collaborated between the scientists and fishermen. So, so there's been a lot. So bringing in NOAA was huge. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So anyway, I can't imagine managing the whole thing. Like I said, I thought it was just the docks and the terminals and, you know, the RV parks over there. But there's huge.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. And I think she made an interesting point about her vessels, that they do collaborative research, and that a lot of the vessels in Newport aren't just fishermen or fishing vessels, but they actually fish for, you might call it fishing for information and conducting research. Makes this port relatively unique compared to many ports around the country, given the number of boats and skippers that are involved with fishery research. Anyway, thanks, Kelly.
Sure. Thanks, Gil.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelly. Anyone else have a question or a comment? Well, I'll close. I don't really have a question. One of the interesting things for me, never being a public official before, was the public meeting process and the meeting rules and regulations behind that as part of our commission. So just something to maybe learn about and research and get your mind wrapped around. Public meeting rules are a little different than other normal meetings that you might have with your team or your crew or your business. And you and your family are very well respected, and I appreciate your interest. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
And of course, we'll be happy to put a package together to help through the process of understanding how the meetings work and what the port is all about, and certainly be happy to sit down and talk about, give some sort of guidance in how this commission works as well. So, but at this point in time, since we do have, unless there's any other questions or comments, since she did put her name for the open position, I would ask if any commissioner would like to make a motion to appoint Kelly for this open position.
I move that we appoint Kelly Rutherford to the vacant commissioner position.
I will second that. All in favor? Do I say all in favor or do you, Paula? All in
You
favor?
do.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And just so you know, Kelly, since you have not been elected, but you appointed for a position that is currently vacant, which, if I don't mistake, and correct me if I'm wrong, Karen, Sarah's position was to end on June 30th of 2021. And because of that, you're serving the remainder of her position. And
Yes.
then if you're still interested, which we hope you are, then you can put your name on the hat for the next election to continue, on your own term. So I appreciate that, and we'll make sure to give you all the proper information. Keep your name on the list when we send out notification to the commissioners. I guess give you a chance to also see if you have any questions to us in general. We can get into the details later, but.
Perfect. Well, all I can say is I'm really humbled. Never figured I would be on the Port of Newport commissioner, or be a commissioner on the port. So I'm really humbled, and I hope that that I can honor that position and hold it well, and represent the people and community and all that are involved. So I am just honored. But
Well, welcome to the port.
Welcome, Kelly.
I really have, I've been going through all of this stuff that I could pull off the port page, and like I said, even listening to your voices and kind of trying to get to know what to expect. I have no idea. So I hope that that I can do that well, get in there and learn quickly and serve you guys well too, as long, right alongside the community. So anyway, so no questions about it.
Great. I think you'll do great, and welcome aboard.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you all.
Jim, Paul,
Walter has a comment.
how are we going to read the oath to her? We have to swear her in.
I'm sorry?
I said, don't we need to swear her in now?
We do. We're unprepared for that. We can swear her in on the next commission meeting.
Okay.
Let's do that. We can do some research and
Yeah,
figure out the
I'll
best way to do that.
bring all the information at this point. I did not prepare that, but that will be her first official meeting at that point.
Okay, and then I think we have a binder.
There's nothing to vote right now, so it doesn't really matter.
No. And then we have an email set up, get an email set up for her and thing. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get through all the process, including a commissioner's package, with some information. And again, we can swear her in on the next commission meeting, because at this point, it's mostly, she couldn't vote, if she was not sworn in.
Right,
and at this
right.
point, there's nothing to vote. We already went through that process. So the next meeting, we'll make it official. I mean,
Okay.
we're already appointed, but
Yeah. So we'll get her communication information, and I'll be able to communicate with her, and you will, and we'll get her oriented.
Secretary
right.
Hannah.
Okay. All right. So we'll move right into staff reports. Under the general manager and director of finance and business services is up first.
okay, well, if you notice, we have switched up a few things just in time so we don't confuse Kelly too much. we'll start fresh here. One thing that we talk about it. Well, first of all, when you see the reports
Oh,
from the
that's right.
directors, they are reporting to me as the general manager, and I'm reporting to you as the general manager. And on that case, in the past, it seems like we had, everybody going through this long process. In order to make it a little bit more efficient, what we've done this time around is I put my report first, with their reports more as a subset of my report. And what we'll do is from now on is if we have a staff report, any projects to get your approval, if they are either from the finance sector or from the operations sector, both Aaron and Mark will be the one providing those requests for approvals, as well as making any presentation needed for that matter. But when it comes to the report, we're providing the report to you already, and I'm just gonna summarize everything for efficiency purpose. And obviously, if you have any questions, if we wanna get into the details, Mark and Aaron are more than welcome to, provide their input. After all, they're the ones out there getting into the details. But those are things that we usually have already been working through. They report to me. By the time this gets to their report, most likely I already know about it because we've been talking about it. But it's certainly easy to have those summarized on a report so you can also see it. With that said, I'm just going to start very briefly here with my report. We have gone through a lot of COVID issues, as you know. A good part of our time here has been spent with trying to figure out mostly the marina, because that's been the one area that we had some closings, and also, of course, getting ready for the budget that we just passed. We, as you probably see here in my report, I have tons of meetings, and I would say 90% of them or more have been related to COVID stuff, working with the outdoor, the recreational folks, working with the state, working with other boat ramps, other ports. So trying to figure out how people are addressing everything. And as we talked about during the last meeting, we're also working with ODFW, the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, to see if there was a way they could extend the halibut season just so to coincide with the opening from the county. After, back and forth, they had agreed to delay it by 1 week, which it just happened this past, the weekend before last weekend. No, actually it happened this weekend. Everything is confusing now. But we decided to open a week before, just to give ourselves time to get the marina ready, make sure that we have all the signs in place. And that week was very quiet. We didn't really have much going on. And this second week, which was the actual halibut season opening, as well as the Memorial weekend, things got a little bit busier. Still in the first couple of days, you could see the parking lot was quite full, but nothing like it was in the past, and it was very manageable. We haven't tallied up the numbers yet at this point that I'm aware of it, unless Mark or Aaron wants to jump in. But it looks a little bit busier Saturday and Sunday, and I believe that has something to do with the fact that the city of Newport decided to open up the lodging, hotels, and so on that weekend as well. So of course, because the city was opening, the county still mostly closed until the end of the month, but the city decided to open this weekend. And with that also, they were allowed to open our RV park to everyone, including short terms. We had to prepare a plan, which Mark did that for us, and giving all the steps that we're gonna take in order to please the city and in order to open, and they approve it. So we went ahead and did that. So yeah, so everything, it seems pretty smoothly as far as I'm concerned. We also got a security, an extra security person out there to start with, because the Oregon State Marine Board gave us a small grant. As you notice, we asked for about $8,000 to cover that extra security, but then the State Marine Board also helped us with about $2,500 of that. I believe there are other ways that we may be able to get some reimbursement for the additional security. We've been applying for other things that we have spent money on it. Some of them are not very specific for those kind of uses of the money, but there are others, and there are some other ports funds that hopefully will be coming up too. At the end, we hope not to lose too much money on this. At this point, I think we're down about $40,000, but then again, with some of those funds hopefully coming back. On my report, you'll see that we finally got, with so much COVID thing going on, I guess, I didn't bring this up earlier, but as you recall, the city has given us 180 days extension to that log yard permit. And that has come and gone, and obviously we have no business in sight, specifically log export shipping yard. So that would have had expired yesterday. So at this point, that one it's pretty much come and gone. If we do find the proper use for for development there, we're just going to have to go through the process again. But then I think at this point in time, it will be easier if it's a process the port take on versus a third party. We'll make sure to stay on top of that. And we'll continue looking for that opportunity. As you may know, it will be a little rougher now with everything that happened with the COVID, finding an immediate use, but who knows, a lot of things that we thought could have been difficult are turning around very quickly, and some things that we thought would be the other way around, it's taking longer. So just never know. We'll keep on trying. I also talked about the urban renewal funds from the city, and you notice I included an email from the city manager showing that I think they found a way around creating that, and the intent is to help small businesses come out of the hole once this whole thing gets to an end, well, or even before. But they have come up with a list of folks that would be part of a committee to make some of those decisions. And most of this committee is part of the taxing authorities, which the port is one. As of right now, they have my name listed. So I don't know if there's any interest from any of the commissioners to be in this committee. If you do, I have no problem stepping out, allowing you to participate. If not, I'll be happy to participate in this committee with the city and trying to figure out what this is all about, first of all. As I learn more the details, I'll be happy to come back to you and report on the details of these funds and what they're really trying to accomplish, all the details. But bottom line is they're using additional funds they have on the urban renewal. Basically, it's just funds that were invested at this point, and again, trying to create ways of assisting others And some of those assistance may be in form of loans and things like that, so the money may come back. So we don't know. At least I don't know the details yet at this point. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take those to the city and trying to get more details on it. So if you have any questions at this point on that, but and beyond that, so I'm just gonna brush through here Aaron's and Mark's reports as well. So as you notice, and then again, most of the information is here. So if you have any questions at any time, feel free to ask. But we have mostly completed our change of financial institutions. So we are now fully working with First Interstate Bank. Because of COVID, you probably noticed that we had a bit of a negative cash flow. But overall, we came up with a positive cash flow for the year because we're having a pretty good year other than this past couple months. So, and beyond that, I think the one thing I just want to focus on is the part that, again, we mostly got affected, which is the South Beach, the budget versus the actual. The income was 10% below budget, and that is obviously for the reason you already know, because that's the recreational area is one area that got really affected by it. But overall, the income for that area, it's still 26% over last year. So all in all, we had a pretty good year for South Beach. So that's mostly the one area I want to focus because of the COVID. I guess my question before I get into the operation is, do you have any questions overall on the finance side? Anything that Mark can answer, I can answer, or in details Mark can answer?
I do not.
As far as the operation side, again, I think I spoke to most of what's going on at the marina and the RV park there. The other things we had going on is that we enter into that contract for the stormwater. So hopefully, I believe it's a couple weeks, right, Aaron, that we'll get that, we'll look into getting that started, week to 2 weeks.
At the most, yeah, they should be starting sooner than that.
Yeah, so we'll keep you informed. For the Port Dock 5 project, we're still working here between the title company and our attorney to get the final documents that we need in order for us to move to the next step, which is hopefully putting out an RFP to hire a management consultant to help us with the project. As you know, we're not going to start the actual project until November because of the in-water work, but it would be nice to get that consultant under our belt to make sure that we can iron out any concerns and any things we may need way beforehand. And Aaron added here too, this as a kind of a reminder, this BackWave project for terminal, the international terminal. It's one thing that it may be another year away, but it would be a good project for the port. We had some conversations with some parties that are interested in bidding on that project with the folks that will be doing that. And when they do, it's gonna be a pretty good sized project that will last somewhere around 2 to 3 months. There will be some impacts in the terminal in a way. Hopefully nothing major, just beneficial, if anything. It's an unusual project. It's not your typical cargo. They're gonna be moving some pretty big cables around there, and there'll be some major cranes coming in into the terminal that we're still trying to figure out how we're gonna handle. Right now, we are working again with this interested party in figuring it out, fees and all that. We already notified the Longshore because I'm sure there will be some work for them, and get them involved a little. We'll most likely, once I get a list of all the details of the work to be done, it will be easier for us to sit down with the Longshore and go over some of the work that they can do, some of the things we can do, some of the things we need to contract out. So we'll look into that. And NOAA, all these projects that we've done, it's that you approve has been mostly completed. So, and you see some photos there that Aaron included. So, and we also starting installation of cameras at the South Beach. That's something that it will help us with more security in that area. Besides that, I would ask if you have any questions that I can either answer or pass it on to Aaron for more details.
Well, I don't have any questions. I am quite excited about the Pac Wave project. It's a good diversification of our use of the terminal. I think that's great. And just wanted to add that. That's all.
So this is Gil. So I have a question, Paula. Is there any rough sense about what kind of fees that the Pac Wave project will generate for the port?
Well, and that's exactly one of the things we're trying to figure out as well. So today we had a conversation again with this one company that is very interested in bidding on the project. And they said they most likely will get it because there are not many companies that do what they do. And I asked for a list of all the work that they feel like we need to be ready for. And we're gonna have to look at that and figure out what we need to pass it on to the Longshore, what stuff we need to contract out, and what stuff we can do. And then we'll figure out also how much, you know, the mortgage time and so on and so forth. At this point, it's hard for us to come up with a number until we have a better idea, you know, for the whole project. So I would say, hopefully he'll get that to us soon. I would say by maybe next meeting, we'll have a ballpark, you know, of what to expect. As of right now, it's more of a reminder that that project, it's something that you know, we're still looking forward to it, and don't forget that we're working on that.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Mhm.
Great.
Did
Any other?
Jeff or Walt, I thought you guys raised your hands.
Yeah, this is Jeff. Basically, just whatever information, whenever you receive it, if you could pass it on to commissioners, just curious about the details, logistics. I guess I understand all that's still kind of to be determined, but just real curious once we do get details on when, where, how big, what, fees, all that. It'd be real curious to pass that along. Even if we get it long before the meeting next month, I'd be curious to see that information whenever it's available.
I agree.
Yeah, sure thing. We'll keep you informed as we know. So there, you know, there's been few things going on at the terminal. One thing I did not add it to my report just because we just had a conversation with Evan Hall today regarding some of the things going on over at his project out there. And so we talked a bit about movement of some of the sand or the dirt that they have there. As you know, we are leasing parts of their property because we have some dredge materials. Some stuff is considered good stuff or buildable, some stuff not so much. And that's the reason we had that agreement with the city, so we can move some of the non-buildable stuff over to the airport. It it occurred to us today after talking to him, there's a possibility of some of that development happening prior to the next fiscal year. We certainly haven't, we told him we haven't budgeted for this coming year to move all that material, because it's going to cost a pretty penny to move all that material. But there's a chance also that we may do some exchange of materials where they could get some materials from our Mount Noah pile, and in exchange for us taking some of the other stuff, and some of that may be a wash. But again, we talked to them about moving the property line to include the shed that we have there. As you know, we budget for that for this coming year, and they're very amicable to that. So we'll continue working on that. We may end up bringing a small extension on the next commission meeting to our current storage lease that we have with them, maybe for another 3 months. We did budget to pave an area within the near the building we have at the terminal, but that may not happen until August, September. So meanwhile, we may extend that lease, which expires next month, so we can continue providing that service to our customers. And I think that's all I have to add.
Yeah, I had some questions too, Paula.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad you got the longshoremen involved, and I just want to make sure that none of these ships that are coming in working on the OSU project think they're going to be parking over the NOAA dock. That's still a sore subject with me. If they're going to come drop their stuff over there and do more for free, that's not acceptable.
Well, yeah, we'll work on that. Hopefully that's not the case, because again, if they want us, I don't believe they will be able to do that kind of project they're trying to do on the NOAA dock, first of all. And I think whoever, again, bid into that project will have everything kind of lined up, and that's why one of the reasons we're working with this customer, that will have all the numbers, including the longshore numbers, lined up to use our terminal. So that's will certainly be our push as well.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that that's not an option, and that they're not considering an option about going over there after they drop their stuff off.
Yeah.
That would not be good.
Yeah, I haven't heard. The deal would be with the third party and not necessarily directly with OSU. So
we still have that other research ship over there, and like I said,
yeah,
we don't need them competing with us for moorage fees, and I just want to make sure that we're clear with anyone coming in here that they're not to go over there and moor for free, or NOAA isn't going to be coming and taking our customers from us.
I completely agree, and I had a conversation last year with a terminal manager at NOAA about that. So hopefully it won't be something that it will continue happening. But yeah, thanks for the reminder, though. We'll make sure of that.
Okay, any other comments or questions for Paula? Okay, commissioner reports / comments. It's been a weird, quiet time for all of us, I know. Okay, nothing heard. Calendar, future considerations, 2020.
Well, as you may notice, a lot of the events got canceled for this year because of the gathering. So around this time of year, normally you would see a lot of events, and we had a lot of them that have been lined up, and most of them canceled, or either they got pushed. I don't know if you heard, but we contacted the fire department, but fireworks have been canceled. Yeah, so no fireworks this year.
Right.
I think mostly because of the gathering factor. So
Well, we hope for a better year soon, and we hope to be able to meet in person soon. It's way more effective, I think. The regular commission meeting is June 23rd, and I will roll into public comment if anyone has one. I don't believe we do, but Karen, do you have any comment on that?
There's no one in the meeting, in the waiting room.
Okay, great. Well, at 6:53 on May 26, 2020, I'd like to adjourn this meeting.